Dilip bhai, I have a question regarding yoga basically. It's such a very popular phenomenon these days, but it seems that there's so many kinds of yoga. You have, I don't know, Hatha yoga, Kundalini yoga, Tantric yoga, Power yoga, Bikram yoga, Ramdev yoga. So can the true yoga please stand out?
You see, this is a word that has been, if you like, hijacked by a lot of elements. And that's fair enough. Why not? Hinduism is such a majestic religion. It doesn't ask for copyrights. There are certain words that are endearing, that greater humanity wishes to embrace. Hinduism said, take them away. We are not selling copyrights. You can take them away. We are a very magnanimous religion. So the word yoga, the ancient term, really, if you like, the beginning of Hinduism. Let me just go back on the theory of yoga, how Hinduism started. At the early stages, the Hindu philosophy, you'll be surprised, was highly materialistic. The Nyaya Vaisheshika philosophy of the Hindus was highly materialistic. It was atomist theory, that everything is nothing but atoms and anu and parmanu. These are the words they used. And they were trying to explain the whole of the creation in terms of little lumps of matter. And this idea was prevalent in India about 2,500, 3,000 years ago. And we suspect, I'm using the word very carefully, we suspect Democritus used to be a frequent visitor to India. He was a great Greek philosopher who introduced the idea of atom and the void in Western physics. That's how the Western physics started. The idea of atom and the void. Reduce everything to little lumps of matter, how they sit with each other, what are their properties, we can explain the whole creation. So this idea of atomic theory basically comes out from this very ancient Hindu thinking, which was highly materialistic. There was no room for spirit. Everything was explained in terms of matter, anu and parmanu. Then we have a revolution taking place. This is, if you like, the beginning of Hinduism, the real Hinduism. One great sage, a great ancient sage of India, whether he was a historic figure or just a name that you conjured up, I don't know, because very ancient story. The name of the sage was Kapila. Here is the first person, one of the sages who was very clear thinker, a deep thinker, and he asked himself, before I make sense of the world that I see around me, all this anu and parmanu, why don't I sort myself out? Who am I that is trying to make sense of the world? Because then my capacity to understand is of course going to kick in to how I see the world. Because if I'm a dabu, then my dabu vision of the world will satisfy me. If I'm a real intellectual giant, then I'll really dig deep into the nature of reality. So let me suss myself out. Who the heck am I? What is my capacity to understand? So his journey was not looking outward. This was the ancient Hindu philosophy, looking outward. He went inward to suss out his own faculties, the capacity in the locus of operation of his own faculties. So he looked within. Here, if you like, this is the germination of Hinduism, beginning of Hinduism. And through this, again, this idea, we may think this old Hindu is not Hindu. In the Western world, even the Greek philosophers used to say this beautiful stuff. Man, know thyself first. Before you make sense of the world, why don't you sort yourself out? Who the heck are you? What is your capacity? So this is very ancient saying in the Western philosophy as well as Indian philosophy. Sort yourself out. What is your capacity to understand the reality? So ancient Kapil looked inwards, looked within. And here is a marvelous story. Whether it's true historically, I don't know. But I love to think it's true historically. I love this character. So he turned inward. He started to analyze through introspection, through sitting quietly under a tree, meditating. Through introspection, he started to suss out the different layers to his being. Okay, I've got the physical being, and within the physical body that I possess, there is a mental realm that I seem to kind of invoke and use. And this is what Descartes discovered, and this was made him very major philosopher. There's more to me than matter. I'm the mind, said Descartes. I think, therefore I am. Now this is ancient thinking. So here Kapil started looking inward. So he said, first physical body. Then he looked inwards and said, no, there's a mental, if you like, dimension that I possess, which is very important because that is how I interpret the world, what my mind tells me. So mind has to be incorporated in my worldview. He didn't stop there. He went deeper. He said, there is a determining faculty within the mind that kind of puts things into boxes. Oh, this is kind of round, this is square, this is green, blue. So we start putting things into boxes. This is called the law of induction and deduction. So Kapil went deeper. He said, we have, if you like, this determining faculty in the mind that allows us to try and classify the world and see it in a more rational manner. To get a better grasp of reality, we have this rational faculty that we possess, and the term we use is buddhi. So it's the body, the mind, and the buddhi, the intellect that we seem to come naturally with us, seems to come with the framework. We don't need to get batteries for it. It just kind of kicks in. So we seem to have, all human beings seem to possess these kind of different layers. But his journey didn't even stop there. Otherwise, it would just been an intellectual gymnastics. He went one stage further. And here, Hinduism started. Suddenly, this man, through this introspection, suddenly discovered, by the way, I am not what I am observing, I am the observer. So what I am conscious about is not what I am consciousness itself. So the vision went inward until it hit the jackpot, not stopping at the body, the mind, or the intellect, but at the spirit. I am the observer, not what is being observed. So everything I observe is secondary. I am the observer and alone, and this is the majesty. And this was not an intellectual thing, let me drink a cup of coffee and work out who I am. He actually hit the jackpot. This is the drama. I told you, spirituality only begins with first an encounter. Otherwise, it's just make-believe. It's nothing more than make-believe. You must be honest about it. So when he hit the jackpot, for the first time, we talk about freedom, kind of natural for every human being, every living thing is searching for freedom, trying to break free from limitation. That's why we like Spider-Man. We like to break free from limitations. So this particular experience, the first thing that you get when you get this experience, that you feel free. You are freed from this very limited vision you had regarding yourself. I am neither the body, the mind, or the intellect. I am the spirit, perfect and pristine, as he was saying. Atman, I am that. In his time, the word Atman had not been devised. So the word he used was Purush, the observer. Not Purush doesn't mean man, the observer. And Prakriti, the world that we observe. So he made the division between Prakriti and this is the beginning of the yoga system. This is where the word becomes, yoga comes from Sanskrit root yuja, joined together with my real nature. I want to discard the wrong notion I have regarding who I am and join myself with my true being, my essential nature as the spirit. This is the word, this is the true yoga, if I can use the word, from the word yuja, joined together with my real being, with my real self. Not what I think I am, but what I actually am, what I truly am. Not what I observe, but the observer. Not what I am conscious about, but conscience itself. So this was the inward. And I can tell you this is such a freeing experience. For the first time, death appears like nothing, fickle, because you are no longer limited to the body or mind. You discovered who you are. This thing that never dies, that's never born. I am that, I am that. And the first thing when you read some of the material from Ramana Maharshi, one of these modern prophets of Hinduism, you see this man lived in the glory of the self. All his life, day and night, he could experience himself separate from the body. So this is, if you like, the beginning of this marvelous journey. So the word yuja, or the word, if you like, the etymology of the word yoga is yuja, to join together with my real nature. Now this is the beginning of the yoga system of thinking. But then, of course, next generation we get Patanjali, who codified this into Ashtanga Yoga. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra becomes the central feature of turning this theory into practice. So he gave a formula saying you follow this particular very severe discipline, which nobody would able to take on really in this day and age. He said, here is a severe discipline, I present it to you, practice it, and you will hit the same jackpot. So he codified it, and that became the central word Raj Yoga, means the royal pathway of discovering your true nature. From there sprang a lot of variations, and you see, Hindu religion is pluralistic. It likes variation. It doesn't like say you are stuck in a rut. Only you must think like I am telling you, otherwise you are lost. It doesn't say that. He said, no, you discover it your own way. You go on a scenic route. Take a bit of a bypass, So all these various other yogas that sprang up kind of are supportive or kind of different approaches to the same idea that Patanjali presents. Patanjali Yoga Sutra is the central. And one of the things that Patanjali and all prophets have said is, look, even though you are saying you are not the body is the most important tool you possess to do anything in life, including discovering spirituality. So please make sure your body is looked after well, it's healthy. So here we get this idea of Hatha Yoga, or producing a healthy body. Because healthy body is the best tool you possess to make spiritual progress. So don't ignore it. You ignore it at your, peril. You don't ignore the body. So here sprang up all this, 84 asanas and all this lovely stuff you see on TV being shown, not by Easterners but by Westerners, doing all this world. Look, nothing wrong. Don't vilify. Some people are fixated on the body, so they just want to make the body stronger and better and healthier, and they're not interested in spirit. Don't vilify them. That is their level. Leave them there. They must progress from where they are. So if they think the body is the beginning and the end of all, it's just the body. Look out for the body so I can bite it, the cherry, second time, a third time. I can get married 3 times. Even if I'm 80, I'll get married because my body is fit. Let him go for it. That's his way. This openness of the Hindu system allows you to progress from where you are. Doesn't vilify any particular level of approach. So if you say, I'm just interested in Hatha Yoga, and the Western world is only really fixated on Hatha Yoga, because they're fixated on the body. That's why they do plastic surgery. They want to maintain, they're saying this is it. They are them. That's nothing more than the body. So they'll kind of, do all this kind of tweaking the knobs and, engineering the body so that jaw doesn't fall down and so on. So I'm also kind of, trying to keep my hair in place, but that's life. But this is, if you like, the idea of different levels of yoga. The Kundalini Yoga comes closest to Patanjali's ideas because it talks about actual physical movement that takes place when you're successful in yoga. So that's again very close to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, but that will be the closest I would say. But there are lots of variations, and does it mean that one is right? No. The one that suits your temperament, that fits your requirement, that's best for you. Go for it. But progress from where you are.